Your beard trim is all booked for Thursday, November 27th at 2 p.m. You'll receive a confirmation message on your phone shortly with all the details.
Have you ever missed a client call while you're mid-fade? Well, in this video, we're building out an AI receptionist for a barbershop. This AI voice agent picks up every call, books appointments on your calendar, answers FAQs, and makes sure you never lose a customer again. If you run a barbershop or similar appointment-based business, you know how fast customers slip through the cracks when you're busy with clients. And today we'll stop just that. I'll show you how to build an AI voice agent using ElevenLabs' new agents platform, how to qualify callers for your services,
And what time were you hoping to come in for your beard trim today?
connect it to your scheduling tools, and ultimately make sure your chair stays booked.
Excellent. Your beard trim is now booked for tomorrow, Wednesday.
Plus, we'll store every contact and conversation in a database using n8n, so no interaction is missed. As always, let's jump into a quick demo, and then we'll go through step by step how to build this system for yourself. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So let's dial into Sammy, my barber, and test this bad boy out.
Stylish Cut, Sammy speaking. How can I help you today?
Hey Sammy, looking to get a haircut booked in for today if possible.
Sure, I can help you with that. Could I grab your name and number, please?
Yeah, it's Jonas, and my number is 0473 085 854.
Thanks, Jonas. And what type of haircut were you after? A crew cut, fade, or beard trim, bro?
I'll just do a beard trim today, man.
All right, a beard trim it is. And what time did you want to come in, brother?
Anything this hour? Do you have like 2, 3 p.m.?
I have a couple of times available today, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Which one works best for you?
Let's do 2 p.m., please.
All right, Jonas. Your beard trim is all booked for today at 2 p.m. You will receive a confirmation message on your phone shortly with all the details.
So as we can see, we have 2 p.m. slot, just SMS to me. And then if I switch over to my calendar here, guys, we'll see that 2 p.m. slot just booked in. Let's quickly just go over exactly what it is we're building. So today we're going to be using ElevenLabs as our voice orchestration layer, essentially how we create an AI voice agent, connecting technologies such as automatic speech recognition into an LLM, into text to speech, creating a voice agent. All right. So ElevenLabs is going to handle that component. Now within our agent, our barbershop agent is going to facilitate 2 functions, and that is support using our attached document. So this is going to handle things such as FAQs and general inquiries, so office hours or open hours, pricing, things like that. And then of course our main component of this agent is going to be scheduling. So this will facilitate our booking function, and we're going to have 2 tools here. So that's going to be calling availability, and then secondly our booking tool. So this will screen our calendar for times, so screen available times, and then the second tool is going to create our event, so our haircut. And this is going to be done using cal.com. So we have 2 main systems here, ElevenLabs and cal.com, to be able to facilitate the building out of our entire barbershop AI receptionist. So let's jump straight into a step-by-step build, and we'll start over in ElevenLabs' agents platform. All right, so if you're new to ElevenLabs, head over to the link in the description. You can sign up for an account there. But once over in elevenlabs.io/app/agents, we can see our builder here. And essentially what this platform enables is the building out of a voice agent, from everything to how the voice sounds, to the tools connected, to even deploying it on a phone number, which we'll do in this video. The first thing we'll want to do to build out this barbershop agent is going to be creating an agent. So how it should sound, what it should say, what tools are it connected to. So we'll head over to agents, this plus button, and we'll hit a blank agent. And here, I've already got a name populated here. We can call this Amir or anything that you want, perhaps Sam or Sammy, and we'll name this Stylish Cuts. Okay. Now that's going to be the name of our barbershop and the name of our AI agent. We'll hit create agent, and this will bring up a screen where we can design the entirety of our agent, like I said, from voice to tools connected and so forth. And today we're going to be creating Sammy from Stylish Cuts, which is our fake barbershop name. And what we need to do now is create a system prompt. And what a system prompt is how this agent should conduct its behavior and how it should book appointments, how it should answer FAQs, who it even is. And that's what, so we can start off with personality, denoted by hashtag personality. You are Sammy, a receptionist from Stylish Cuts. You're a helpful, approachable, and professional. All right. Now, this doesn't have to be anything crazy, something basic, just really defining who it is, what the job is, from where, and how it should conduct its behavior. Moving on, we'll want to define the environment in which Sammy exists. So Sammy's from a barbershop. We should define who that barbershop is, services, opening hours, and things like that. So here we can write environment, and we'll say something like this. You work for a barbershop, Stylish Cuts, in which you're handling inbound phone calls. You're located at 992 Haircut Avenue, downtown district, and this is just a fake address I had put. And then we'll define some of the opening hours here. This enriches the agent context in case it needs to retrieve this quickly. Next, what we'll want to do is define our agent tone. So how should the output of this LLM or agent sound, and in regards to intonation and things like that? We'll simply say you're upbeat, positive, and approachable. Moving on, we'll want to define the goal of this agent. What is it that this agent needs to achieve in conversation? So we can define our goal section here. Your goal here is to assist inbound callers with their request. A user may request a haircut booking or just have some general information, about pricing, how much a haircut costs, how much a skin fade is, and so forth. Opening hours and locations, stuff like that. Now, moving on, when we've defined our goal, how is it we're actually meant to do that? So we can define exactly how we're meant to achieve said goal with our task section. What our task section is going to contain is pretty much step by step how we should achieve a goal. So how are we meant to assist inbound callers with their request? How are we meant to process a haircut booking? Or how are we meant to present general information or answer, those general FAQs? And put simply, we can start with our introduction. So we're going to number these out 1 through 5 and thinking in terms of a conversation, how to run through achieving said goal sequentially. So here we need to begin with a polite greeting and identify the user's intent. So someone's going to be calling in our barbershop for creating a booking or just asking some general questions. So we have 2 primary functions, and let's reference back our Miro board. Remember, we have 2 primary functions here: new booking and general intent. So after an introduction, we could define exactly how do we process scheduling a booking. So our second task is going to be scheduling a new booking. Awesome. And we can say something like the following. So under step 2, we have a sub-step. The first step of scheduling a new booking in this case is to collect some details. And how we're going to book in this appointment is using a phone number. So firstly, we want to grab both their name and number. And we'll say something like collect name and number. And then we'll want to confirm that number. If a number is incorrect, the first time we had collected it, there's no point booking that appointment. It's not going to go through and it's not going to be helpful to both the barber and the client. So we need to confirm that number, and we're going to repeat the user's number to confirm. So we'll say verbatim. And just to make sure I heard that correctly, your number was number. Remember, we've collected it up here. Was that correct? And that's going to prompt the user to reply. If the number is correct, we're going to proceed, else recollect. And here, this is very important. Always convert user's number into international format. This is known as E164 format. So this, we're replacing the beginnings of the mobile number with area code specific. Now, I'm in Australia, so our area code for mobiles is +61, but if you're in the US, it would be +1. If you are elsewhere, perhaps in the UK, +44, and so forth. So just ensure that you're changing this to your specific area code. So I'm going to give it an example here as well to better help our agent be able to process some of this logic during conversation. So we're going to say, for example, a spoken number, my number should be converted to this. So this is my number with plus area code. And then we're going to say, what type of haircut were you after? Was it a crew cut, fade, or beard trim? And here we're going to collect type similar to what we had done above. And then we're going to proceed with asking what time they wanted to come in for that haircut. We can define our secondary sub-step, which is going to be checking availability. We're going to use an arbitrary tool name here. Now, I've just denoted the name of the tool, but we haven't actually added any tools to this agent, but we're just going to use these as placeholders for now. And shortly, we'll jump into creating these actual tools. So under sub-step, step 2, we have use Calcom get available slots with preferred date and time. So the user is going to give a normalized date and time, for example, tomorrow at 2 p.m. We're going to use our available slots with that time to fetch available slots across a 3-hour time range. Now, what's interesting here is the calendar tool or scheduling software we're using, cal.com, requires that our preferred date and time is in UTC format. Now, because a user is going to say something like tomorrow or next week at 2 p.m., this isn't in the right format for a computer. So what we need to do is convert the caller's requested local time. So for example, I'm in Australia, Sydney. So we need to convert that time into UTC ISO 8601 format before sending that request off using our available slots tool. So in practice, what does that look like? We're going to say 1 p.m. at this date and time. And this may present itself in conversational language. So I might say 1 p.m. next week, or I might say the 17th of the 9th at 1 p.m. That's going to be converted into our ISO date format. If no slots are found, we're going to rerun that tool for slightly earlier or later times. So how this tool works is we query a minimum time, usually at the start of the day or an hour before the actual requested time, and then a maximum time, so start and end time, to return an array of available slots that we can present to the user for them to select for us to book into the calendar. Now, if no slots are found, we're going to rerun for slightly earlier start and slightly later end times to expand the array of slots that we get, and then present available slots for the user selection. Okay. Now, once we have availability and we've checked if the requested time was available, how do we book that into the calendar? Simply put, we can add a sub-step 3, book appointment. Once the user selects a slot, we're going to call this tool, so our second tool here, to confirm the appointment. Relay confirmation details to the user. Awesome. So as far as booking goes, we've defined accurately under our point 2 of our tasks. Now, what do we do when the user requests some general information? So here we can define point 3, user requests general information, use knowledge base to answer general queries. Pretty simple. And here we'll connect a knowledge base in due course that will contain some preliminary and general information about our Stylish Cuts barbershop. So to quickly reference that, I've just made a basic PDF here, business name, location, type, some general information, service time, opening hours, and some pricing for haircut types. And basically some general FAQs here. We're going to connect this up in just a moment, but we want to get through this system prompt first. Now, once we've defined our task section, we want to add some guardrails or parameters, what to do and what not to do when it comes to building out an AI voice agent. And this is applicable to all types of AI voice agents, not just the one here today. And how we define that is we can say guardrails, and we can say some things like this. Always check availability across a 3-hour time range for start and end times. Always convert between UTC and Australia Sydney when using tools. Never speak UTC times to the caller. Only announce times converted back into a localized format. Always pass Australia Sydney as inner time zones for booking rescheduling. Always format the user's number into international format, replacing 0 with +61, for example. So what we had above, and then some general conversational guardrails, keeping it appropriate, respectful. Do not provide personal opinions, blah, blah, blah. Now, finally, the last thing we can do is denote a tools section. So given our task, what tools does this agent have access to? Well, of course, it has access to our availability tool, but it also has access to our booking tool. And outside of booking and scheduling, it has access to a few other tools that we want to incorporate. So ending the call and perhaps skipping a agent's turn so that the user has some time to think. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. So here we have our tools, availability, create a booking, but we also have end call when it's appropriate to end the call, and skip turn where the agent will skip a turn if the user explicitly indicates that they need a moment. And that is it, guys. Our entire prompt build out for our barbershop. All we have to do is create these 2 tools and assign all 4 tools to this agent, as well as assign our knowledge base. We can port this agent to a Twilio number, deploying it on a phone line, and we're good to go. One last thing before we duck off this system prompt, we want to actually add the current time of our specific time zone, so our agent has some reference of the actual time it is. Because most models have a knowledge cutoff date, a lot of them don't have native time built into them. So we can say something like current time equal, and we want to go down to the bottom right here, set time zone, and we'll search up your time zone. So for me, that's going to be Australia, it's going to be Sydney, and then we can say system underscore time, like so. And now this is going to have reference to the actual time, and this is going to help better book and check availability. So we can exit out of that and hit save, just like so. Now this is double underscore there if it gives you any errors. So moving on, let's go to the first message really quickly, and we'll say stylish cuts, Sammy speaking, how can I help you today? Hit save. We'll make that interruptible so the user cannot actually interrupt. And for the voice, let's test out what voice we might want to use for our barber. So Eric.
Gratitude is riches, complaint is poverty. Gratitude is riches, complaint is poverty.
That is probably too basic. Let's try.
Yo, the name is Tyree.
Okay, we'll test that. So here we can define our voice. You can click find more voices, and this is going to bring up a voice library, and there's literally tens of thousands of voices you can choose from and assign that to your agent. We'll use Tyree, what we had before. Language, again, this is another feature. You can choose from dozens of different languages, as you can see here. The LLM here, we can leave as is. Gemini 2.5 Flash is pretty fast and lightweight. And as far as our agent settings up here, we're pretty good to go. Let's hit save on that one. And we're going to jump across quickly to knowledge base. And we're going to add a document to the one I had showed you before. Stylish cuts knowledge base, we'll add file. Remember, that's the one here. Once we've added a document, we want to jump quickly over to analysis. Now, what analysis is essentially 2 things that we can do here. Evaluation criteria, so we can specify how to define or evaluate whether conversations were successful or not. And then secondly, data collection. So defining custom data specifications to extract from conversation transcripts. So this is going to be most important to us. We want to extract both the service a customer called for and any appointment details. So here we can add data point and jump across to the side here. And the first one is going to be identifier type. So this is going to be, in essence, the type of haircut or type of appointment. So we can say the type of appointment the user had called in for. And this will be a string value, right? And what we can do is set some enum values. So adding predefined values that our LLM can select from. And this helps standardize string types and values. So here we can do general underscore inquiry, and this is going to house any inquiry outside of booking. And then we can do our haircut types. So here we can do normal haircut, and then we'll do fade haircut, and then perhaps beard. So we'll do normal haircut, add fade haircut, beard, trim, and then maybe we'll do beard, hair, and hair. So generally we'll have 5 categories that any given call could fall into: a normal haircut, fade, beard trim, or beard and hair. We'll add data point there, hit save on the bottom. Now what we'll have to do is we'll add tools, and what we're going to do here is we're going to enable end conversation. So this will ensure that our agent will end the call when appropriate, and we can customize this end call. The tool is name, and we can say use this when it's appropriate to terminate the call. Hit save, and then we'll also add that skip turn. Remember, we added that to our tools section, so we can do this, and we'll just leave that as blank. Hit save on the bottom. Now what we'll want to do is we need to add our scheduling tools. So how exactly do we add that? Ensuring everything's saved here, we can go back to our main sort of page, and you can see all my agents are here, but we can go down to integrations. And what we want to do is add our calendar integration, and that's going to be cal.com. So you can see here with their new platforms, they've added some more integrations, including NCP, which is there before, but now cal.com. So we don't have to create these calendar tools manually. We can actually use an integration, which limits some of our customizability when it comes to what tools are used and how, but it speeds up the development process when it comes to booking in appointments, which is quite advantageous for us. We've also got Cursor, Exa, HubSpot, Twilio, which we may use later, ServiceNow, Zendesk, Parallel, and we've got Salesforce coming through, or you can request an integration. So here we're going to use cal.com, and here we're going to define our credential type to use with this integration, and this can only be an API key. So we need to go ahead to cal.com, our scheduling software that we'll be using for creating events in a calendar. And to do that, we'll need an event type and our cal.com API key. Now, before we retrieve that API key, I just want to note that we've created a new event called Barber 60 Minutes, and this has an assigned URL, and the location here is set to in person to our mock Barber address here. Availability, you can connect your calendar, whether that's Google or something like that. And we can also define the working hours as well here. So you'll see Monday, 8 p.m. Well, Monday to Friday, we're going 9 to 8 p.m. and then Saturday, 9 to 6 as per our knowledge document. And then obviously Sunday closed. Now this under advanced is linked to our Google Calendar, which will determine whether a slot is available or not. So really important there to set up your event type. If you don't know how, just go to event types and you'll hit new up there. This will bring up a new event type screen and you can go ahead and populate these values. But for now, I'm going to use this Barber 60 minute. And take note of the URL up here. So these numbers are going to be our event type ID that we're going to need shortly. But for now, we need an API key to facilitate this integration. So let's head over to the settings under API keys. And you'll want to add API key. Let's call this ElevenLabs, so 11L. We'll hit save on that one, copy, and head back over to your ElevenLabs integration, paste in like so, and we'll hit connect on that one. Cool. So now we can see after we've created that integration, we have access to 5 different tools: canceling a booking, getting all bookings, getting available slots, and creating a booking. So natively here, we don't have the liberty of rescheduling an appointment. Unfortunately, this will be something ElevenLabs, I suspect, will add in the future. Now, over in the AI Voice Network, my private community for building, learning, and selling voice agents, we created a similar barbershop voice agent that has access to not only creating a booking and screening availability, but also those small, often untalked about things like rescheduling and cancellations when it comes to bookings. And of course, I've got 2 previous videos in the past over here on YouTube that go through how to facilitate cancellations and reschedulings in relation to cal.com within ElevenLabs. So do check that out. But if you're looking for more granular insight, go ahead and check out my community if you haven't done so already. So for today, we're going to be using create booking as well as get available slots. Now that we have that integration assigned, we can head back over to our agents. Under our SAMI agent, we'll go to tools. And what we're going to do is add tools, and you'll see add integration tool. We're going to select our latest cal.com integration. And here we're going to select create booking, get available slots. And then we're going to create these 2 tools. As you'll see here, we have cal.com create booking, cal.com get available slots. Now there is 2 things that we need to do to make these actually work. Because we have a predefined event type over in cal.com, we need to specify what event type do we actually use when it comes to querying our calendar for availability, as well as creating that booking in our calendar. So how exactly do we do that with these predefined and pre-created tools using an integration approach with ElevenLabs? Put simply, we can click any one of these and we'll go up to the top right-hand corner, edit as JSON. Now, I haven't seen anyone talk about this, but you can edit some of the specific parameters and queries and things like that when it comes to these integrated tools manually here. And what we're looking for here is this specific property event type ID. And as you can see here, this tool has a description, the ID of the event type to book. What ID are we using? So we need to add that manually here just to ensure that it's querying on that right event type. So like I said before, we want to make sure that we take reference of that ID, which we can retrieve our event type ID under our event type. And if we locate the URL bar here, we can see 3861254. So here we're going to say the ID of the event type to book is 3861254. 3861254. And we're going to copy this, hit save, and we're going to come back to the secondary tool and do the same here. Edit as JSON, you'll see event type ID, and we're just going to paste that in the description. Hitting save down there, hitting save up here. Now our 2 tools have been connected to SAMI, our stylish cuts agent. And of course we have these 2 native tools ending the call, skipping the turn. How good, guys. Now I'm going to quickly test the functionality of this agent via text, and then we're going to associate this with a Twilio number so we can actually call live into this barbershop agent and test out everything end to end, including that voice, of course. To quickly test functionality and iterate if needed rather than using up tokens, we can go preview agent, switch to chat mode up here in the top right, start chat. Here this is going to bring up a chat interface and we'll see our first message populated. Hey mate, let's do how much is a skin fade? $45. And you can see that referenced our knowledge base quite excellently there. So that's perfect. And then we'll say, can I book one in, please? And it's going to ask for our name and number, Jonas, and my number is, your number was that, and we can say correct. And here we have our blank calendar here. So we want to select a time, and that could be whatever. So let's do tomorrow 1 p.m. and that's going to call that availability tool. It's going to say I have 2 p.m. That'll work. And that's going to call the booking tool. And we can say that's booked in for 2 p.m. So we're going to add some more prompting there to ensure that if that requested available time was free, prefer that rather than suggesting other times. But if I go back to my calendar, there we go. We're booked in just 1 hour ahead. So a few things to tighten up within the prompt, and that's exactly why we test this with chat rather than having to go through a full conversation. But as far as availability and booking goes, that is quite well. So we need to quickly go back to our agent. We'll expand that, and we're going to tighten up how it's checking availability. So use cal.com to fetch available slots across a 3-hour time range, convert the caller's requested local time from Australia, Sydney into UTC ISO. Now, always past Australia's in a time zone. So to see what actually happened under the hood, we can go back to our conversations, check out the one we had just had over in transcription, and scrolling down, we can see it succeeded. So we actually called the available slots endpoint, which is good. We see we had a result, and this is our query. So our agent queried between 1 and then 4 p.m. So this is UTC, but if you convert that into Australian Eastern Standard Time, those are the dates. And then it obviously had 1 p.m. converted as a slot, which is quite good. And then we had another slot, so returning, a few slots there. The problem is when we converted from UTC back into localized time zone, it got that mixed up. So really what we need to do, long story short, is consolidate our prompting a bit more and be a bit more specific. To do that, let's jump into our agent again. We'll open that up and then come down to availability, ensuring slots are converted back from UTC into Australia, Sydney, AST plus 11. And what we'll also do, we'll copy that and add that into the guardrails as well. Let's exit out of that, hit save, and we'll quickly preview agent, start chat, book an appointment, quickly just speed run this, say tomorrow 10 a.m., presented a range, which is good. So we have 10 a.m. We'll select 10 a.m. and that'll book in. Cool. November 26th at 10 a.m. Let's check the calendar now. And there we go. If we click into that one, 10 a.m., perfect. And then our location is down there. And then the attendee, which is awesome. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Now what we have to do is assign this to a Twilio number, which is very straightforward. And then we can go ahead and call in, do some testing, and have a bit of fun. So to connect an agent to a number, you want to head over to phone numbers under telephony. And I'll quickly just move aside here. So we want to go under phone numbers under telephony. This will show all your available numbers that you can assign to any given agent. If you don't already have a number, there's 2 methods on importing a number, from Twilio or from SipTrunk. Today we're going to be doing Twilio, but I have videos in my community on how to do this for a SipTrunk if you're looking to cut costs and don't necessarily want to use Twilio. So I'm going to hit from Twilio. What we can do is we can do Barber number, and here we're going to define the Twilio number. So we can open up Twilio. We're going to be using the following number over on Twilio. If you don't know how to create and assign a number over in Twilio, you can go to buy a number and you can select from the country in which the number's from, whether that's the US or Australia or anything like that. Hit buy and you can submit any required documentation. You can really buy a number from whatever location in the world with Twilio, provided you have the relevant documentation to be able to confirm your identity. So typically with Twilio, if you're buying out of country from where your business is located, you have to submit your tax information as well as identity documentation. If you're in a highly regulated zone, if you want to buy a number in Italy or Spain or something like that, the process is a bit more complex where you have to submit your passport. But generally speaking, it's very straightforward. You can buy this if it's US or something a bit low level. And then when you have the number, you can go to active numbers. Under the number you had just bought, we can just copy this, heading back over to our import, and we'll just reformat this to be an actual number here. And then we'll need to create a Twilio account SID or assign one. If you don't already have it, we can enter account SID. To grab that, you go to Twilio, under your dashboard, console.twilio.com, scroll down, copy your account SID, enter that in like so, and then hit import. Now we have our number imported, and all we have to do is assign that to our agent, of course. Sammy Stylish Cuts, saved. And now our agent is live on a phone number. Should we test that out? Should we test it out? Okay, so let's go ahead and dial into our phone number. Put her on speaker.
Stylish Cut Sammy speaking. How can I help you today?
Hey Sammy, I was looking to get in for a haircut.
Certainly, I can help you with that. To start, could I please get your name and phone number?
Yep, my name is Jonas, and my phone number is 0473 085 854.
Great, thank you, Jonas. What type of haircut are you looking for today? We offer crew cuts, fades, or beard trims.
Just a beard trim, to be honest.
All right, Jonas. And what time were you hoping to come in for your beard trim today?
Do you have on Wednesday this week, midday, like 12 p.m.?
Let me check that for you. For Wednesday at midday, I have 2 slots available. One at 12 p.m. and another at 1 p.m. Which one would you prefer?
Yeah, let's do the 12 p.m. one. That'd be great.
Excellent. Your beard trim is now booked for tomorrow, Wednesday, at 12 p.m. You'll receive a confirmation shortly. Is there anything else I can help you with today, Jonas?
Thanks, man. And how much was the beard trim?
A beard trim is $20.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And what was your name?
You're very welcome, Jonas. My name is Sammy. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
That's all. Thanks so much. You've been very helpful, Sammy. All right, I'll catch you later. So that was very smooth. Worked flawlessly. Very smooth. What we want to do now is probably SMS the customer with the appointment details. Otherwise, they're not going to really have a copy themselves. Of course, we have a copy and they know they're coming in. They're not going to have a copy themselves of their appointment time as well as the location, just in case. We can do this in our event type, going to workflows, creating a workflow, and then we can say when new event is booked, and we can do an action, and we can send SMS to attendee, and then we can define our text message type here, obviously in cal.com. But as you can see here, it requires a bit of credits. So if we don't want to have credits within cal.com, we want to do this externally, we can do that. But there's 2 ways, just to note. The second way, of course, is to just use Twilio, the number we had just imported. So how do you do that? We can go to integrations again. We can add integration, Twilio. And what we want to do is input our account SID as well as auth token. So again, back over in Twilio console, we can copy that. We can head back over here to SID, paste that in, and then auth token will also want to paste in. And once we have done that, we can connect. Not for now. You can see tools connected. So what tools do we have access to? Well, we have send message, we have get message, list message, delete message, get call, and list call. Today, we're going to be using send message. Awesome. So we can head back to our agents, Sammy, tools, and here we can create a new tool or add tool from an integration tool down here. Here we can select our Twilio integration, and the tool is send message. We'll hit create on that one. As you can see here, we know the tool name is Twilio_send_message. So we should probably copy that name so we can reference it in the prompt. And again, you can always edit this as JSON. Now here, the text content of the message. So we're not going to really define the text content of what SMS we're sending it. Obviously, we want the LLM to define this based on the appointment details, right? So here, let's save. And we want to jump back into our agent tab. And here, let's just open this up and scroll down. We'll define the tool it has access to, Twilio send message. Agent will send an SMS once the user has booked in for a haircut to their E164 formatted number, giving the appointment details, name, time, and location, which will be 992 Haircut Avenue, Downtown District. And I think that's actually been different on our event type. Yeah, so we probably want to change that as well, 992. And then we'll just jump back over to here and location there. Now we'll also want to say under step 3, after we've booked an appointment, we'll copy this little arrow here and we'll say call our tool to send a confirmation message to the users, and we'll want to use number with their name and appointment time and address. And again, we're going to specify the address explicitly here. Back up here, exit out of that, hit save on that one. And now let's call in again.
Stylish Cut, Sammy speaking. How can I help you today?
Hey, Sammy, I'm looking to get a haircut booked in, man.
Sure, I can help you with that. Could I please get your name and number?
My name is Jonas, and my number is 0473 085 854.
Great. What type of haircut are you looking for today? We offer crew cuts, fades, and beard trims.
Yeah, just a crew cut, please. That'd be good.
And what time were you hoping to come in for your crew cut, Jonas?
Do you have anything this Friday, 10 a.m.?
Yes, we do have some availability this Friday. I see a slot at 9 a.m. and another at 10 a.m. Which one would you prefer?
Let's do 10 a.m., please.
All right, Jonas. Your crew cut is booked for this Friday, November 28th at 10 a.m. You'll be coming to 992 Haircut Avenue, Downtown District. We look forward to seeing you then. I've also sent a confirmation message to your phone.
Thanks.
You're very welcome, Jonas. Is there anything?
Now, what we actually just want to just jump back here to tools really quickly and just edit. And we actually need to specify the from number. So the number to send the message from. So without the from number, an SMS won't be sent because it doesn't have context of the actual number. Here we can just copy the from number. And explicitly define it in here. Otherwise, we could define it in the system prompt. But for reliability, it's best to edit it directly within here. Let's just quickly check everything. So customer, phone number to send to, that's good. And anything like that. Now that we've done that, we can actually go ahead and call into that and test it finally. Okay, let's put speaker.
Stylish Cut, Sammy speaking. How can I help you today?
Hey, Sammy, just wanted to book in an appointment, man.
Sure, I can help you with that. Could I please get your name and number?
My name is Jonas, and my number is 0473 085 854.
Great. What type of haircut are you looking for today? We offer crew cuts, fades, or beard trims.
Yeah, let's do a beard trim.
All right, a beard trim it is. And what time were you hoping to come in, Jonas?
Do you have this Thursday, 2 p.m.?
Yes, we do have availability this Thursday at 2 p.m. Would you like to book that in?
Yeah, let's go ahead and book that in, man.
Your beard trim is all booked for Thursday, November 27th at 2 p.m. You'll receive a confirmation message on your phone shortly with all the details. We look forward to seeing you at 9992 Haircut Avenue, downtown district.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Cool. And if I go to my messages, we had, let's try and format this. Let's go full screen. Hectic. So, appointment booked in, numbers right, SMS was sent, we are good to go. The final thing that we'll want to do is ensure that this data is being sent externally, whether that's n8n or anywhere else. And you'll notice if I go back here over to my conversations and the one we had just had, transcription, you can see we had our available slots called, create booking, and then send message all succeeded. And then we ended that call. If I go to client data there, or sorry, overview, you can see data collection, beard trim. So now we want to send that back, as well as the summary, which will contain our appointment details. So how do we do that? Let's go to agents and we'll go to Sammy here. So under security, we can scroll down to something called post call webhook. And here we'll want to select a webhook and obviously create a new one. So we can jump over to something like n8n to be able to capture these end of call webhooks. Over in a blank workflow, let's add a webhook, production, type post, like so. We'll copy that. We'll hit save, activate this. And what we'll do is we'll head back over to ElevenLabs. And here we could do Barber as the name. Valid callback URL is going to be that address, and we'll hit create. And what this will do will be sending these data points along with the transcript to our server, which is n8n in this case, so that we can use that to update a CRM, update a calendar, update anything that we want. If we hit save on that, and I'm going to quickly have another conversation, we'll be able to see that data come back through. So let's have one final conversation with our agent, and we'll inspect our executions here, and we'll see that data come back through. So let's call in for the third and final time.
Stylish Cut, Sammy speaking. How can I help you today?
Hey, Sammy, just wanted to book in a haircut, man.
Sure, I can help you with that. Could I please get your name and number?
My name is Jonas, and the number is 0473 085 854.
Great. And what type of haircut were you after, Jonas?
Just
For crew cuts, fades?
yeah, skin fade, bro.
All right, Jonas. A skin fade it is. And what time were you hoping to come in today? I have availability at 3 p.m. and 4 p.m.
Yeah, let's do 4 p.m.
Excellent. Your skin fade is booked for today at 4 p.m. You will receive a confirmation message on your phone shortly with all the details. We look forward to seeing you at 992 Haircut Avenue, downtown district.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Probably going to go a bit closer there. There we go. Skin fade, 4 p.m. Obviously, that previous message was from our last call. But the main thing here we're taking a look at is if we refresh over here on our n8n, you can see that workflow popped through. And in our webhook, collapse this, metadata. Under analysis, we see haircut fade. There we go. And we can also see transcript summary. Now, what you could do is copy this to editor, use something like data tables, and we could create a record. So we could do insert row, create a data table, call it like fades or whatever you really want. This will create a new data table, and we can add a column, type, add column, number, so the customer number, and then transcript, something like that. Add column. Then we'll head back over to our workflow here, reload, and we can insert row into that new data table, fades. And then here we can map the value. So you can see under data, we're looking for under transcript, metadata, analysis. We can see the value of type is fade haircut. And then we'll also have the customer's number, system caller ID, and then that transcript summary. And there we have it. If I execute that, save, go back into my data tables, refresh. Now that record had been added, I can go in, take a look at the transcript, see my appointment details, the number, fade, haircut. Awesome. And obviously when that was created. So that is it, guys. A perfect little barber system for anyone that's looking to automate some of their inbound calls. Now, of course, Tyree G could be changed for a different voice that can handle number pronunciation a bit better. There's a bunch to play around with, and I recommend checking out some of my community where I go into the nitty-gritty of all the back-end settings when it comes to any sort of voice AI platform. So do check that out if you're interested in taking your skills to the next level with voice AI. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and comment below. If you're looking to stay ahead of the AI voice curve, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're a serious builder looking to learn, build, and sell AI voice agents, I recommend checking out the AI Voice Network. I'm building a place full of enthusiastic builders to better prepare them to build production-ready voice AI. So if you want to take systems like this you've seen today and connect more external tools, CRMs, and softwares to better build a production-ready system, go ahead and check the link in the description. But that is it for today. Until next time.